Most of us have wished to change our physical bodies at some point in our lives. Whether we commit to losing weight, gaining weight, or just eating healthier, we can all relate to this ambition to better ourselves. Though some people may take this idea a bit too far. Bodybuilding is becoming increasingly popular today, and many athletes are looking to cut corners to achieve maximum gains in the shortest amount of time, even if that means risking their lives to do so. Some individuals aren't even looking to build muscle, rather they simply want to look like they have an incredible amount of strength just to impress their friends, family, or passersby. So let's take a look at some of the world's weirdest fake bodybuilders. And by the way, the final entry on this list is completely absurd, as we do not recommend that you try it at home.
Oh, sure. Here. No pain, no gain?
A bodybuilder from Brazil has begun risking his life in an attempt to look like a real-life version of the comic book character, the Incredible Hulk. This man has also legally changed his name to reflect his new persona, now being legally called Beefcake Valdir Sagado. Beefcake has begun to inject oil into his arms in an attempt to bulk up his upper body without having to deal with the stress and effort of weightlifting. He has managed to get his biceps to measure a massive 23 inches, but not without sacrificing comfort. These injections are known to be super painful, and the man is just 48 years old and has doubled his bicep size in a relatively short amount of time. When he began his strange routine, his arms measured just 12 inches. Now that he has begun injecting this dangerous oil into his muscle tissue, he has nearly doubled his size within just 5 years. Beefcake says that he is most inspired by the work and body type of Arnold Schwarzenegger, although Arnold is known to have worked very hard to achieve the weightlifting records that he did. He says he has also taken inspiration from Hulk, but is locally known as He-Man or the Monster.
I am a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied by that.
This would cause Beefcake to realize the error of his ways, but he is insistent on getting his arms even bigger than they already are. Beefcake is a local construction worker and says that having large muscles is something he always wanted in life. He speaks of them saying, "This is a dream come true that I searched for and conquered." While that may be true, Beefcake certainly didn't achieve his large muscles in any legitimate manner. His injections would likely disqualify him from most weightlifting competitions across the world. He says, "You look at your body and you see that it's growing and you're going to want more. They call me Hulk, Schwarzenegger, and He-Man all the time, and I like that. I've doubled my biceps to 60 centimeters, but I still want to go bigger." Even though he has massive muscles today, Beefcake wasn't always the beefy man that he appears to be. When he was younger, he went down a very dark path in life. He began to question his purpose and eventually got deeply involved in drugs. These drugs nearly cost him everything that he loved in life, including his strength. He says that he lost a major amount of weight and had virtually no muscle on his body. People who passed by would often refer to him with hurtful names such as Skinny Dog or Little Skull. These may seem like strange names to call someone, but keep in mind that Beefcake is from Brazil, so translations may have altered the original intention of these phrases just a little bit.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Beefcake recalled his earlier years and said, "There was a time in my life that I got involved with wrong things. I got involved with drugs and I started losing weight because you don't eat, you lead a wrong life. I started to look skinny and people started giving me nicknames, so I decided to change my life." Beefcake says that he got off of drugs and joined a gym to begin a new chapter of his life. He was doing quite well for a brief time, but he was then offered injectable oil by a fellow gym goer. He accepted the offer, and this led him down a difficult path of injecting the oil regularly. He understands that doing such a thing is very risky, and he has been told that he risks losing his arms entirely if he does not stop. However, he refuses to be skinny again and is willing to assume the risk, and he has had close calls in the past that nearly cost him his life. His doctors have continually urged him to stop using the oil, but he says that he uses the injections because he likes them and he genuinely wants to continue growing his muscles. He does admit that his muscles have cost him his social life and he has been unable to attract a partner because of them. He believes that women are too intimidated by his muscles to approach him and mentions that he is currently alone and has no one in his life other than himself. He says that children on the street will often pick at him and call him ugly, but he is satisfied with his looks and that is the only thing that he is concerned with. Beefcake has said that he plans to grow his muscles another 10 centimeters and hopes to become famous because of his looks. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds for Beefcake, but we certainly hope that he receives the help he needs to kick his habit while he still can.
That's normal muscle. All of this is pure product that you've injected. It's eaten up and taken over your entire muscle.
Kirill Tereshin is a 23-year-old from Russia who has become known worldwide due to his freakishly large biceps. He has earned himself the nickname Popeye for a very similar reason as Beefcake, injecting dangerous chemicals into his body. Kirill has been a bodybuilder for several years, but has proven himself to be relatively harmless in a fight. He recently took part in an MMA fight, but lost because his muscles were not up to the task. Having naturally large muscles and artificial muscles are vastly different, and Kirill learned this the hard way after being brutally beaten in the ring. Kirill was recently warned by doctors that he could die if he did not stop injecting petroleum jelly into his arms. To repair his damaged tissue, Kirill sought the help of a local doctor and surgeon in Russia. The doctor found that much of the muscle in Kirill's arms had died and become nothing but dense tissue that was just lodged inside of his body. He was scheduled for surgery so that doctors could take a look beneath his skin and see what was going on with his actual muscles. As it would turn out, the surgeon needed to remove around 3 pounds of dead muscle from his body. He also sucked out 3 liters of petroleum jelly that had bound itself to the dead muscle tissue and created a large lump. However, this was not the end of the road for Kirill, as this is only the first operation. The surgeon has said that he and his team are only 1/4 of the way through the procedure to help Kirill recover from his mistakes and be able to use his arms again one day. Kirill originally rose to prominence several years ago after he had flaunted his large biceps online. At the time, they measured around 24 inches, an inch larger than Beefcake, but it didn't take long for his bad habit to threaten his life. Kirill began to experience swelling and redness of the skin around his muscles. This appears to have been extremely painful, and Kirill was anxious to have his muscles removed. He was ultimately convinced by Alana Mameva, a campaigner for those who have become victims of horrible plastic surgery. The two found a doctor that would accept Kirill's case, but the surgeon said his outcome will be likely less than ideal. He will almost certainly lose most of the muscle in his arms. He will still be able to function in day-to-day life, but he will most likely be quite weak for the remainder of it. The surgeon who had been operating on Kirill says that the main issue with his habit is that petroleum jelly is not intended to be used in muscle tissue, and it is certainly not intended to be injected in such large quantities. He says that the jelly begins to attack the muscle and break it down, causing it to eventually die. From here, his body began to reject the tissue, which caused Kirill a tremendous amount of pain, weakness, and even caused him to get a dangerous fever. The doctor says that the young man simply didn't realize the gravity of the situation and had no idea that injecting jelly into his arms would cause irreparable damage. Kirill has finally agreed to continue receiving help from the surgeon and other locals who plan to guide him along his journey to recovery. He plans to have the remainder of his muscles and damaged tissue removed so that he can live a normal life again, or at least as normal of a life as possible, considering he will be left with horrible scars and low muscle mass for the remainder of his life. Cases like this just further explain the dangers of bullying in modern society. Hurtful words or actions can lead individuals down a very dangerous path that can cause them to take extreme measures to remedy the things they perceive to be wrong with them. In Beefcake's case, he was bullied as a child for being too thin, so he remedied the situation by building muscle using dangerous oils. Kirill faced a very similar fate, simply because he wanted to gain large muscles without having to put in all of the time and effort of gaining real muscle mass. We hope that these two can recover soon, but let this be a lesson to closely watch what you say to others and to never try potentially harmful substances when put under the pressure of your peers. Which of these fake bodybuilders did you think was the most ridiculous?
Hey, what's up, ladies? Oh, you're from around these parts, eh? Yeah, I'm from Saskatchewan. What's up in Canada, eh?
What are some crazy things that you have tried over the years to build a better body? Let us know in the comments.
Just doing my workout.
Also, don't forget to smash that like button and ring the notification bell to let us know you made it to the end. We will catch you guys in the next video.